Hello and welcome back to Witchy Ways for Modern Days. This is Brittany from Winslow Naturals, and today we are taking a deep breath, quite literally, into one of the most ethereal and transformative elements in witchcraft and spirituality, the element of air. Air is everywhere yet nowhere at the same time. It's invisible, yet it is undeniably present. Air surrounds us, it fills our lungs. It carries sound, thought, and inspiration. In magical practice, air is associated with intellect, communication, knowledge, freedom, and the movement of energy. But there is much more to air than just a breeze. So today we're going to explore this element in depth. I'm going to explore a bit of the history behind the mythology, the symbolism, its role in witchcraft, spiritual significance, and practical ways that you can work with air energy in your practice. Air is often seen as the element of the mind. It is the element of thought and communication. So where earth grounds, air lifts. Where fire ignites, air carries the spark for it. It governs ideas, learning, creativity, and perception. Air is the realm of inspiration, insight, and mental clarity. In witchcraft, air is associated with reasoning, learning, wisdom, and discernment. It also is of communication and expression, and this is from speech to writing. Air is representing the flow of ideas. In embodying change, air also represents travel, its exploration, freedom, and movement. And in spirituality, air allows ideas and inspiration to rise above the earthly and the mundane. So invoking air energy helps us to think clearly, communicate effectively, and connect with our higher self or our divine self for inspiration. It is a key element for mental magic, for divination, and spiritual growth. In mythology, air has been revered in cultures worldwide as both a physical necessity but also a spiritual force. So this is very unlike Earth. Earth is known as a spiritual element, but it's predominantly physical. Air has the capability of being both at once. It is a dual element. In Greek mythology, Ether, who is the primordial god that represents upper air, like the light sky, Ether represented the air that gods breathed. So this is very distinct from the mortal atmosphere. This was symbolizing divine intellect and spiritual clarity. The Greeks also had Zephyrus, who is the gentle west wind, and several other wind deities who controlled movement, change, and guidance. In Egyptian mythology, the god Shu represented air, space, and light. Shu held the sky above the earth, which illustrated the concept of air as the space that separates and supports and enables life. Many indigenous and pagan traditions honor air as a carrier of spirit, a carrier of messages and wisdom. In Celtic and Druidic mythology, air was tied to communication. It was the movement of thoughts. It was the inspiration of poets and shamans for centuries. In Hinduism, Vayu, who is the god of wind, embodies breath. He embodies life, force, and energy. He connects air with a sense of vitality and spiritual movement. So air often symbolizes freedom and impermanence. It can be gentle, but it can be fierce, predictable, but wild. It reminds us that thoughts, ideas, and experiences are constantly in motion and none of them are static. Air has been foundational to human understanding for thousands of years. Ancient philosophers and alchemists recognized air as one of the four classical elements, often associated with the East. So air was the East element. It was known for thought and the mind. So while fire and earth focus a lot on stability and transformation, air is in charge of governing the abstract, the unseen, the cognitive, right? These are the mind. This is the mind element. The Greek physician Hippocrates linked air to the concept of pneuma, or sometimes this is called vital breath, which was considered essential for life. Air also is associated with the magical practice in as much as it's associated with learning, social connection, flexibility. Air magic is often cerebral, so it focuses on ideas, communication, and insight. So while earth grounds, fire ignites, water flows, air moves. It clarifies and it informs. So air can be used to enhance mental clarity, your intuition, your creativity. Sometimes it can be used for travel magic or divination spells. So some common air associations in magical practice include, and I've kind of summarized this list so that I remember, tools and symbols, feathers, incense, bells, quills. These are often used to represent air on an altar or in a ritual. Crystals for air are generally going to be lighter. This is going to be like a clear quartz, a fluorite, a citrine, even selenite is a really good spiritual stone associated with air. Dealing with herbs, lavender, primarily, peppermint, fennel. These are often used in air spells that are tied to clarity or divination. In ritualistic practice, air rituals often, if not always, involve burning something. So burning incense is a good one. Using bells is something that doesn't really happen in any of the other element practices aside from air. Or even invoking the wind, having the wind carry away intentions, cast off intentions into the wind. That is something that is exclusive to air element spell. And divination. Divination draws on air energy. So what I mean by that is tarot runs on air energy. Runes, scrying, pendulum work. This is drawing on the concept of air. So this element encourages clarity, insight, and perception, which we would not have with tarot if we weren't dealing with the element of air. Now you can ground in air, like we talked about last episode, grounding in earth, which is very common. But grounding in air is different. It doesn't mean holding still and stable like earth. It means learning to ride the currents of thought, grounding in your intuition without being swept away. It's a very delicate balance to ground in air. It's possible. It's not necessarily that advisable for some people. Some people will not be able to ground in air, but some people can. So I figured I would mention it because it can be done and it can be useful for some people. Meditation, deep breathing, visualization, these can help people attune and ground into air energy. Just try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Not one thing fits all. Nothing fits all in witchcraft. Not one thing. 100%. Don't let people lie to you. So, how do you work with air energy? So, some practical ways that you can work with it are actually, they're pretty simple, really. Breathwork and meditation. Use conscious breathwork to connect with air. You're going to focus on your inhalation and your exhalation to center yourself and to open your mind. Visualization exercises can involve imagining a breeze, carrying away confusion, bringing clarity to the mind. In a ritual, incense and smoke work will help to carry your intention to the universe. You can hang feathers, you can hang bells on an altar. These can represent air's presence. Opening windows and doors during spells invites the wind to move energy and carry intention. So if you really want to kind of let air element take away your problems, take away this manifesting thing that you're trying to get done, sweep it away into the wind, carry it off into the ether, and let it unfold as it's going to. Power it via that way. That's a way to do it, and that's a very powerful and valid way to get the spell done. Air is excellent for spells that involve communication, anything that involves the mind, study. So air is really good for school rituals, or even inspiration. Written sigils, letters, affirmations, these can all be empowered by air energy, and again, released to the wind. You can let these letters go. You can burn them and let the ash go in the wind. And you can use incense and smoke, even your breath, as mediums to transport magic or messages. For example, you can whisper in a breath. Whisper your manifestation. The remainder of this podcast can be purchased at our Patreon, Witchy Ways for Modern Days.